Well, good evening and welcome to our July 28th, 2015 Ogden City Redevelopment Agency special meeting. Let the roll call reflect that all board members are present with the exceptions of board members Gochner and Wicks, who have both asked to be excused tonight. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. First minutes were the special meeting of April 28th, 2015. Board member Stevens.
Yes, Mr. Chair, they're correct.
And then of the work session of May 5th, 2015. Looks like Board Member Wicks is absent. Has anyone else read those?
I have read those.
Okay.
And I will move that I approve the work session of May 5th, 2015 and the joint study session of June 9th, 2015.
Okay,
I find those minutes to be correct.
Thank you, Board Member Garner. And then work session of June 9th, 2015, Board Member White.
Yes, I've read those and found them to be correct.
Sorry, Vice Chair White. And then finally, the regular meeting of June 9th, 2015, Board Member Blair.
Yes, thank you. I reviewed those and found them to be accurate, and I would make a motion that we approve the listed minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Blair, seconded by Board Member Garner to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the next item is item number 3, reports from administration, Kiesel Community Development Project Area Resolution. So this looks like we have Brandon. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. And congratulations on a productive evening with the passing of the transit plan. That's very exciting. What a great milestone. Our request tonight is regarding Resolution 2015-10, which authorizes the administration to create a draft community development project area plan. So I would like to first discuss a little bit about the differences between the 3 different types of project area plans that you might be used to. And then I will discuss what went into the determination of the specific area that we've chosen, and then we can talk about a little bit about the goals that we have for that area. So before you on the board, on the TV, is the description of the 3 project areas that are authorized under State Code 17C. The urban renewal area, which was formerly known as redevelopment areas, RDAs. You're most familiar with those, I'm sure. They're now called URAs. Economic development areas, we have 2 of those in the city, the DDO, EDA. There's a lot of acronyms here. As well as the trackline EDA. So we have 2 of those. Something new to what we have done traditionally is the community development area, which is the topic of our discussion and our request tonight. So urban renewal areas are focused on development in blighted areas. There, in fact, needs to be a finding of blight as per the statute in the code. And there is also with that a limited amount of eminent domain allowed. And so those are 2 of the distinct features of a URA. That differs from an economic development area wherein blight is not a consideration and eminent domain is not allowed. Both have the use of a taxing entity committee, which is the body of taxing entities that is responsible for approving the plan and the budget in addition to the redevelopment board. And the community development area, again, is directly related to the promotion of economic development, but does, again, not have eminent domain and does not require TEC approval as it relates to the other 2 areas. Any participation by taxing entities or other entities that are involved with the distribution of incentive is done through interlocal agreement. And so that's a major difference between the other 2. The agency is able to essentially negotiate terms of incentives at an entity level. And therefore, there might be one interlocal agreement based on the needs of the project, or there could be many based on those negotiations. So those are the 3 distinct differences between the the project areas that are authorized under state law. Do you have a question?
But it still can have TIF funding, or it still can?
All of those are specifically for the purpose of creating a mechanism to have TIF as your funding incentive, yes. As I mentioned, urban renewal areas and economic development areas are done through the resolution of the taxing entity committee. That same mechanism is created at a community development area level just through interlocal agreement. So the result's the same, process is a little different. Is there a way to make this a little bigger?
That's just the size of your slide. It's not zoom in on.
So she's looking at that. We'll try to make it a little bigger. There we go.
That works.
Yeah, thank you. So this is the area west of the junction. So you see that the junction is there on the Grant Avenue, east of the Grant Avenue promenade there. 24th Street bisects the district, and to the north there you see the ball field. To the south there's the Marriott Hotel. So this area represents a couple of key elements that we're interested in seeing develop. Number one, 24th Street is the historic entrance into our downtown. It comes right into the central business district. It comes right next to, on the south side of the junction, next to the conference center. So as one travels into the downtown, that corridor is very important in terms of the experience that they have coming east to do business or to work or to shop into the downtown. So it's important for administration to pay special attention to that experience in that corridor. That's our first consideration in selecting this particular boundary. Number two is in this general area there is a number of historically significant buildings that could otherwise be very contributory to the overall fabric of the downtown development, yet they remain vacant, in some conditions blighted, and in all conditions underutilized. Those buildings include the old post office, the old Thorstenson building, which is on 23rd and Grant. Proudfit is right next to it. We have the Kiesel building there on the corner of 24th and Grant. We have the Berthana. Obviously, we've seen some great things happen on the Marriott, but there's some parking issues there that this plan will hope to address. We also have some other developing projects that could likely be located in this area that utilizes some non-historically significant buildings, but otherwise underutilized. So we have some ability to shape those development patterns as well. So all in all, those things together caused us to look very carefully at this area and to map out some of the potential that we know of and some of the potential that may be unknown to us right now, but clearly would be there based on the assets that are involved. So those are the reasons for identifying this specific boundary. The immediate goals would, in creating the area, would to again generate a mechanism to allow us to be flexible in responding to some of those projects that we know of, and to be opportunistic with projects that could be forthcoming. So having the district created, having the ability through interlocal agreement to use tax increment as an incentive would give us the flexibility to see this corridor develop in a very positive and meaningful way. So tonight is the first step in that process, in that regulated process. Resolution 2015-10 is the request for just the authorization of the draft plan. Subsequent meetings would need to be held to have the draft plan presented in a public hearing, public comments taken on the plan, and then based on those comments, action taken on the plan. So those are things that need to happen. Tonight's request is the authorization to create the draft plan, and we would come back to you when that is ready. So our recommendation from the administration is the approval of 2015-10. Is there any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Cooper?
What's your timeline for the draft?
We've actually started creating a framework for the plan now. We don't have all the data that we need to have a draft plan. Obviously, we were waiting for this step, but based on the consideration this evening, I believe we can finish that work in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
I looked at 23rd Street and it looks like you segment out the government buildings there. Is that a reason why you didn't include that into the CD?
So right there at Lincoln and 24th, that is IRS Phase 3, the new Lincoln building, and there is no reason for us to put additional incentive into that building. It's fairly new, has a long life ahead of it. So we carved that out. You can see just immediately to the west of that, there is the old Rio Grande and the warehouse buildings, that front wall. Those are in poor shape. The Rio Grande especially has a lot of life to give if it had some TLC, and could be a very cool building in terms of that whole campus area. So that's why you see the jog as you do. We did jog around IRS Phase 3, but we wanted to include its neighbors.
Any other questions? Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
So I will make a motion that we adopt proposed resolution 2015-10, authorizing the draft of the community development plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Garner, seconded by Board Member Blair, to adopt proposed resolution 2015-10. This is a roll call vote.
Board Member Stevens?
Aye.
Board Member Wicks? I'm sorry. Board Member Blair?
Aye.
Board Member Garner?
Aye.
Vice Chair White?
Aye.
Chair Heyer?
Aye. That passes. We are now at the public comment portion of our agenda. This is an opportunity to address the board regarding your concerns or ideas for the Ogden Redevelopment Agency. Please state your name and address clearly for the record. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. I don't see any takers. So, comments from the RDA Executive Director
None at this time, thank you.
and board members.
I just have a comment, and I love that we have stuff on the, can you make it bigger? If you even, I have old eyes.
I think she's asking for 24 point,
28.
28 point.
I'll negotiate down to 24, but I really appreciate the overview. I just, if you could just make it. It's hard on, it's easier to see it on this screen than it is for us to be able to see it. So that's,
Okay.
thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, any other comments? Okay, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the RDA meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by Board Member Garner, seconded by Board Member Blair, to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just as a reminder, there will be a City Council work session immediately following this meeting, and the items to discuss are on the agenda.